the mind coordinates the body. Looking at the patterns of walking actions, one can see whether the person is balanced or imbalanced, wholesome, aware of one's body, coordinates one body from the high awareness, or does not. And when we speak about actions, we speak about internal actions. When we're aligned with a higher awareness, all our actions are in alignment. So when one is aligned with a higher awareness, one is at peace, one is content. One's physical actions are direct emanations of the higher awareness. So externally one is disciplined, one accepts the routine and doesn't feel bored in it. One feels fulfilled from within. That's why the external actions does not define one being. But once one is in the egoic mode or having a traumatic response, and the actions are driven by trauma and traumatic response, one is anxious and their external actions appear to be restless, to be anxious, to be erratic, to be angular, because higher consciousness, higher awareness is like a flow. And that's why when this one is aligned with this flow, one's actions are smooth. When one is aligned with one's trauma and is in possession of one's trauma, one's actions are angular, erratic, somewhat like squarey, and so one is not well coordinated. And so we can see already when someone is imbalanced mentally, emotionally, is not aligned, one's body will move according to these patterns, either smooth if one is aligned, or angular and erratic, anxious, restless and squarey. So and when one is in that squarey, anxious mode, it means one's trauma is protruding, is coming to the surface. And instead of running away and resorting to obsessions or entertainment or addictions, one is to just calm oneself down, tame oneself at one spot, and calm oneself down in silence without following the suggestions. So when we speak about the action arises within as a wave. So we're speaking about non-action and non-doing on the subtle level, because we cannot avoid the external action, and the external action is always the reflection of the inner being. We can cook and do our household chores naturally from that inner being, from that non-active, non-reactive mode where we're just a flow, or we can do it to perform, to show, to prove. And then all our actions are, oh, am I doing right? Am I doing wrong? They're angular, squarey, they're not aligned, they're just to perform something which comes from a tumor, from a trauma. And so when we want to truly act in alignment, we act from the non-action, because we're just there in peace and contentment and performing our natural duties, household chores, cleaning, cooking, or speaking. But we are smooth, we're flowing, we're natural. Our energy is pleasant. When we act from the tumor, from the trauma, our energy is toxic. We generate that toxicity, that's kind of like unpleasant energy which repels others or which creates anxiety in others. And this way we wonder why people start disliking us, because we emit that toxicity from within. And we can't understand why we fail, because we don't understand that our success is defined by the way we communicate with the reality, the way we convey ourselves to the reality and reflect ourselves from that reality. And if our emanation is toxic, that toxicity is reflected back to us, and we feel like we are nothing. People don't understand us. They don't see us for who we are, because we ourselves are blind, unaware of the fact that we are emitting our toxicity. And this toxicity comes from our shadow, from that tumor which veils our true wholesome identity. And that's why we are not in alignment.